Hi, so I'm super excited to meet you all. I know some of you a little bit from the prior get-togethers a year or two ago with ISTO. But first things first, I really, I'm just excited just to get everybody together and connected. And I don't know if you all know each other, so I am going to just go around the Hollywood squares here. And I just would love for you guys to let me know what organization you're with, your name, and then if there's anybody else joining today from your organization or in the future. We'll start with that. And please, if you have any questions, just put it in the chat, raise your hand. The purpose of this group is really, I just think, awesome that Chris got these started. I love the idea of just starting everything from the ground up, and everything's been kind of, top down, as Chris and I have talked about. And I just think this is such an awesome opportunity for us to all get together, collaborate. And so in our group, we've got some first responders and we've got veterans groups. And I'll talk more about like how I see those kind of coming together, but we'll get going with introductions. So I'm going to start with Orr. And
hey, Shane.
Good to see you. It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been more than 2 years, right? Hi everybody. Nice to meet you. I'm Orr. I'm from Israel, but I've been living in Costa Rica in the past 2.5 years. But I'm closely connected to Israel still. I work there. I'm a clinical psychologist, so I have people that I work with over there. And in the past year, I'm also working tightly with Guy, which will present himself later, on our NGO that's called Ocean, and we're just starting, but is gonna provide surf therapy. And our main program is working with veterans with PTSD from Israel, combining some work in Israel and a retreat in Costa Rica, hopefully. We're just starting, like we've been working on it for a while, but we're just starting now. So it's all pretty new for us. And we're super excited to learn from all of you. I just want to say it's pretty symbolic, but today is like the Memorial Day in Israel for everybody who's been into battle and lost their lives. And yesterday, maybe Guy can tell us about it later because I'm just reading about it from afar, but there was a pretty shocking event of a guy with PTSD that has been fighting for his rights for a while. And yesterday, out of despair, just burnt himself in the rehabilitation office in protest for not getting his rights. So I don't want to make it too depressing, but that's the reality in Israel. Like that's the feeling that veterans are not getting everything that they deserve, and basically that's why we started our operation. So thanks again.
Thanks, Orr. Do you, I'm going to ask you guys too, as we go around, and if you don't have it off the top of your head, but if you have a URL for your website, I'm creating like a list so we can all kind of have collabs. So if you have a social media handle or a website, let me know, I'll jot it down. I'm taking notes, but also if you don't, that's fine too.
Well, we have the URL, but there's nothing there yet. Like we're just in the construction phase right now.
Okay.
So I'll give you all the details later.
No problem.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Orr. On to Rob.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Sanderson. I live currently in Kansas City, which is right in the middle of America. I'm the director and founder of SWELL, which stands for Surf Waves Enjoy Life. And what we do is we take veterans and first responders on guided surf missions. Most of the time we head out to California, Huntington Beach area, but we're also looking to make some trips to Hawaii and Costa Rica as well. And we do have a URL. It's www.theswell.org. And we're on Facebook and Instagram at The Swell Mission.
And you know what I realized is we can even use the chat. I'm still like, after a year of Zoom, still like slow. So we can always put them in the chat if that's easier. And then
I'm actually connecting with my phone, so this works out well for me. Just to say
okay.
it.
Okay, perfect. I'll put it in there for everybody. And then I'll also be uploading this, but I just love, supporting each other with all the online stuff too. So do you have any trips planned yet for the summer, Rob?
Yes. So we just got back with a group of firefighters from Seal Beach. And we're headed back out in July with our police psychologists from the Kansas City area, plus a handful of kind of a mishmash of veterans and first responders.
Did everybody
in
freeze,
July?
or is that just me?
I think Shane's frozen.
Yeah.
Can everybody still hear me?
Yeah, keep going, Rob. We can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. And then August, we've got kind of August, we've got a pretty cool mission. We're taking 6 inner city kids that are associated, 6 inner city cops, and we're going to bring them out to Huntington Beach area and put them together and teach both groups how to surf. And it's going to be all inclusive deal like we usually do, but we're going to have family style dinners. We're in the process right now of teaching the numbers with them right now, which is going to be something special, I think, especially because of the position our nation's in right now with underserved communities in the police.
Awesome. I apologize. I had a tech cut out, like my whole screen disappeared. So I don't know. I lost a little bit of that, but this is recorded, so we'll catch it a little bit.
Okay,
Sorry
awesome.
about that, Rob. Thanks so much. And then there's Rob. I didn't realize there's 2 Robs. So we have Rob Garnett also over in the other corner over here on my Hollywood Squares.
No, my name's Rob Garnett, and I work for One More Wave out here in San Diego. What One More Wave does is we create customized surfing solutions for injured and disabled veterans here in the US. We also have recently, in the last 2 years, started expanding to having surf meetups, and we have chapters all over the US. And then now we've got a couple overseas too, to include Hawaii and Okinawa. We've served so far about 500 folks, and we're just gonna keep cranking. But I'm here in San Diego, California, and we're mostly volunteers, like I think the rest of us here.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rob. I didn't know you were right here in San Diego with this lovely, cloudy, drizzly day with me today.
I know it.
Awesome. All right, Guy, do you want to hop in?
Hello, everybody. Hi, Shane. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm just gonna say that I'm super excited being here. I'll leave it as well. And Or and I founded Ocean about 7-8 months ago. It was a big dream of ours. Actually, a good friend connected the two of us. Just we had the separate dream, but the same dream of creating this NPO that gives surf therapy for veterans. I mean, I don't know if you know, but there's a mandatory service in Israel. So there's a lot of people that have finished their army service and suffer from PTSD. Me, myself, I'm a veteran, always a veteran. And actually the first thing that I've done after my military service is to jump into the ocean and surf, because I knew that I'm going to find peace in this amazing environment. And since then, I've actually decided that my life mission would be to create surf platforms like surf therapy platforms for whoever, anyone who can find peace in it. And our main goal is actually working with veterans that suffer from PTSD, and maybe expand to other populations that with mental issues. But basically, that's it. We hopefully going to start our activity soon. probably in the next few months. And that's it.
Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, I'm gonna bop down to Corey.
Hi, so I'm Corey Nichols. I'm the founder of Costa Therapy, Certified Ocean Surf Therapy Adventures. I founded it because I was a veteran. Before that, I'm a Floridian. I've been surfing here since I was 15. I'm 42. And then when I joined the military, I hurt myself, and what I did was a really bad broken ankle I got, and I realized that I really couldn't do anything. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't really be as physically fit as I kind of remembered. So I just went back to surfing, and it just kind of brought me to surf therapy, because I put myself through school and became a CODA. I'm an occupational therapist assistant. So yeah, that while I was doing that in school, I came across OTD Carly Rogers study, and that brought me here. So
Awesome. What part of Florida are you taking?
Brevard County, right where all the surfers are. Kelly Slater's from the same county.
Cocoa Beach area?
Yeah, up there, like 20 minutes north.
Got it. Very good. Thanks so much, Corey. All right, Jody, want to pop on?
Hi, I'm Jody Flicker from Jimmy Miller Memorial Foundation. So yeah, and talk about Carly. That's awesome. Carly is one of our founders. So the organization has been going for about 16 years now. It was a foundation that was put together to sort of celebrate, but also help heal folks that were left after Jimmy Miller, who was a local waterman and a really well-known surfer. He had surf camps here. He had kind of brought a bunch of like youth groups together, really inspired a lot of people. He was a lifeguard. He suffered from mental illness and took his own life. And an inspiration for continuing the work that he was doing and just sort of having a group of people to heal themselves. His family and friends formed the Jimmy Miller Foundation. And from that, Carly Rogers was at USC at the time. She was somebody who had trained under Jimmy, and she approached the family and said, I think that this early work that Jimmy and I had started with kids with autism, I'd like to continue it. So currently, we actually focus on, mainly we focus on, well, several populations. So we have veterans, active military, and at-risk youth. The through line with all the communities that we work with is that they suffer either from traumatic brain injury, PTSD in some form, whether that is from the PTSD could be from a broken home situation. It could also be from military service. And we've also sort of added a new element in the last few years with our clinician, Kevin Sousa, who's our program director now, after Carly retired from Jimmy Miller. So Kevin brought in more of a clinical psychology piece. So now we call it mind, body, and soul. And what we're also addressing now is the community that are basically either alcohol or drug addiction, which we're seeing a lot with some of the veterans, mainly some of the older veterans who suffer from that quite a bit. So we currently service folks in the San Diego area. I know that we've partnered with a number of organizations here for some of our veteran groups. We work with we have a surf gathering group right now that we're trying to add some more structure to right now in San Diego. We work with Veterans Village in San Diego. We have also the active military out of Camp Pendleton. And then we have the veterans group that is out of the Greater Los Angeles Veterans Association up here in LA. So our areas of where we hold our sessions are in Manhattan Beach, on the base in Camp Pendleton, La Jolla, San Diego, I believe, and then Coronado Beach.
Are you an OT?
I'm sorry?
Are you an occupational therapist?
I am not. So my role is, I started as a volunteer. I'm actually on the board, and now I volunteer as operations and marketing because that's my profession is marketing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Carly was an OT, and then you told me, you said that's basically what she, her program or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when you said the drug and alcohol thing, you guys are into that or onto that, that's actually reminding me of the reason why I kind of started mine when I was in school. They just threw pills at me at the Veterans Hospital. They give me it's a bottle. It gave me a bottle of tramadol that I could just call in, and they send to my house whenever I called them. So, and I was kind of like, nothing else. You don't give me any physical therapy, nothing. Yeah. So that's kind of what.
Yeah.
Over here in Florida, that's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rampant, and also alcoholism as well. Kevin, who is now the program director, is a recovering alcoholic drug addict. So he uses his personal training. He's been sober for many, many years now, but his training and his experience is what he also brings to the table, in addition to being a clinical psychologist.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jody. And I'm glad you have that marketing background. I suspect that somebody in this group may pick your brain on that side too. It's marketing is a challenge, I think, especially nonprofit and trying to work all that. So I'm excited that you're here. Thank you. Karen, are you okay to come off mute?
Hi, yeah. My name is Karen Evans. I know a couple of you on here. How is everybody? Everyone's good. I'm located on the central coast of California, and I currently hold a position at AMP Surf and working with children and adults with disabilities, amputees, and also veterans are definitely in that group. I founded the Women Veteran Surf Project, and the goal of that particular project is to serve women veterans specifically due to different mental health issues, emotional issues, and physical. We have very physically different challenges. And so basically, like Corey, you were saying about being in the VA and you get out of the military, and the transition for me was very, very difficult. And I'm just coming from a female perspective. It was, hard getting out of the military and then being a mom and kind of trying to transition into being a normal mom chick. And that was brutal. And I keep thinking, had I had surfing at that point in time, it would have been a wonderful tool to transition back into civilian life. Yeah, they just gave me pills too. And every time you get a new counselor, you have to retell your story. And they look at you in horror. And I'm like, I don't want to have to hold space for you. Like, that's not the point. And I just found the body-mind connection and the spirit of surfing is just so healing. And if I could just give a dose of what I've perceived to other people, it'd be awesome. So I'm really happy to announce we have our first Women's Veteran Surf Retreat at the end of April. And it's a 4-day retreat, and it's in Aurora Grande in a campground atmosphere. So it's very modest, very base. And we're just going to be surfing. And these women most of them are surfers. So we're going to create kind of a think tank and see what is it exactly do women vets want and need. And I just want to say this isn't to be exclusive to men. I surf mostly with men, and they're dear to me. This has to do with sexual trauma, MST, and it has to do with a lot of surfing's very vulnerable because you put yourself in a wetsuit, and that might sound very simple to some people, but it's actually really brutal, and it can be very scary and trigger trauma for a lot of people, probably men too. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm so excited to be doing research. Research is my favorite thing to do. And I'm a huge fan of the Jimmy Miller Foundation and the research that you guys have been part of. And I've been trying to find a way I can use and cite the ocean therapy TM curriculum and combine it with my groundswell background as a facilitator for groundswell. So thanks guys for being
Thank you
here.
so much. I'm so
Cool.
excited to hear about how the retreat goes next time we meet. And
Yeah.
thank you so much. That's great. Christina?
Hello,
Hi.
how are you guys doing? My name's Christina. I'm the founder of Wahine Warriors. We're here in Florida, Jupiter, West Palm area, and we serve foster kids, veterans. We kind of go wherever our heart goes. So I would say trauma, basically. Our next group is probably going to be a group of teenage girls that have all been through some sort of sexual trauma, some of them specifically trafficking. So yeah, we've had an array. We just finished our last group of male veterans, which we always thought we were going to be focused on females, but we just can't help where our hearts want to go. And I love that we have the room to do that. For me, it was definitely kind of a religious thing. I felt like God put it on my heart to start this program. And so our program is Christian based. So we do incorporate that into our curriculum. And our program is a 6-week program. We meet every Saturday and we're all volunteers here. Let's see what else. Is there anything else?
Do you have a URL or a social that you can pop in the chat or tell me and I can add it in?
I'll type it up for you, but it's wahinewarriors.com, and on Instagram or wahine_warriors.
Okay. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Love Jupiter. I would love to be there right now, just warming up. It sounds nice.
It's amazing here. Water everywhere.
Yeah.
Originally from Wellington, West Palm.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to talk with you. That's so cool to have someone else in Florida doing something similar.
Yeah, I'm up north. There's more waves.
All we need is a little ripple.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody. Chris is on mute still over there, and she told me she's gonna be quiet. So I want to just share with you guys a little about my background and how I even ended up getting to be in this awesome group with you guys. I am a physical therapist, and in 2013, I started a practice focusing mostly on keeping aging surfers in the water longer in life. And through the journey of really just running my own PT practice and 3 of my own back surgeries, I was working, I'm a physical therapist. I was also working in the healthcare system here in Southern California, and just like kind of started, I guess it was maybe after my 2nd or 3rd back surgery. I hurt myself when I was a kid, but it was just worse and exacerbated by, transferring heavy patients, just a whole myriad of stuff. But I also started kind of doing the work to explore, back injury and how that relates to, burnout. And, there's a lot of metaphysical things that kind of come together with that. And so I believe it was right before the ISTO conference a couple of years ago, I reached out to Chris and I was like, hey, I have this weird idea. I saw this video. It was a YouTube video that was talking about moral injury. And it was talking about vets with moral injury and how healthcare providers in a lot of ways share that. And that term moral injury coming from the vet PTSD space and kind of made me think about Carly's work. And I was like, I know that Carly had done, some studies, and I started digging into it more, and I looked at her model, and I just was thinking, I was like, okay, like whether we're labeling this, and we can do a session on this maybe later at another time, but whether we're labeling it moral injury, burnout, PTSD, compassion fatigue, I think all those things kind of like, they they go across all of it, first responders, healthcare, vets, for different reasons, of course, but I think that the concept of moral injury really is what kind of drove me to start really thinking about it. I'm like, well, if we know that this works in vets, what can we do? Because there's like a high rate of physician suicide, like no healthcare program in the world. Like, I obviously haven't studied there's no perfect healthcare system. I had the benefit of being able to work in Costa Rica in the hospital system there, and I got to see how that worked, and I seen a little bit from Australia, but there's just so much burnout, and I was like, well, what is it, burnout or is it moral injury? And I still really don't know the answer, but my vision was to start creating programs to help support healthcare workers. And then flash forward a year and COVID hits and nothing really has happened. I haven't been able to really get anything off the ground.
You said you got a back injury from transferring. Did you work at skilled nursing facilities and stuff?
I worked in a lot of skilled nursing.
I work at 2 right now.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. That's like another thing that kind of pulls me. And I talk to all my coworkers. I mean, I've tried to get this big guy that I know in the water every day almost, but he's scared of sharks up here. It's mostly sharks. That's the big thing. But yeah, I feel like that would be one of the best, I don't know, I'm a surfer, but I mean, one of the best reliefs from burnout. Yeah. And fatigue and yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just horrified. I don't know how people are holding up. I was
Especially
actually laid
after the
off.
pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah, I was laid off in the beginning. I was an outpatient clinic, but I have friends that have been working on the COVID unit and just seeing people die. And it's just like we have to discharge that somehow. And we were already in such a strained position. So I didn't really know, it's so crazy. I feel like COVID has been such a weird time for a lot of people. Like, it's just like, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with my PT practice anymore, because one-on-one therapy with people is great, but I don't know that it's having the impact that I would like. So when Chris approached me to ask if I would help with these working groups, I thought this is perfect because it gives me the chance to meet all of you guys here. It sounds like, there's little bits of everybody's group that I think we can all relate to. And I'm just really excited to be here. And I really don't know what this is gonna, how this is gonna evolve over the next 10 months. But I just appreciate everybody hopping on, and without, blathering on too much. One of the goals I just wanted today to kind of go through with you guys is talking about what's going well. And I mean, I don't know if that's, today or over the last year or however COVID has affected your organization, but something that's going well, something that is not going well. And it doesn't have to be like a whole elaborate thing. And then something that you would like to see manifest or come to fruition in the next 10 months. And I just, we'll just kind of go back around. And again, the idea with this group is just to kind of get ideas on the table. I want to try to create a space so you guys can start to connect, and maybe like something that's going really well for somebody is just going shit for somebody else. And I just want you guys to be able to help each other and keep moving this forward. So I'm just going to start back on the Hollywood Squares with something good, something not so good, and something you want to create or manifest in your organization. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so the good thing is that we've been getting awesome responses from everybody we've been telling about the project. So a ton of support from people, and some organizations, relevant organization in Israel that are really interested in getting involved and cooperating with us. So for example, the biggest NGO in Israel that is working with PTSD, who has more than 500 clinicians, are already on board and trying to help us. So I would say, honestly, door to door, whoever heard about this is really enthusiastic and wants to help. But, and here I move to the challenges. Everybody wants to help, but you know, when it comes down to business, to really like getting the participants and especially the funds, the picture is a little different, as you all know. So right now we're kind of like, we're very motivated to start, as Guy said, in the next few months, but we're still looking for the funds and for the participants. We have some leads that we're following, but nothing is quite there yet. So that's our biggest challenge. And I'm sure all of you, when you started your organizations, probably had the same challenges. And the third question was what we're looking forward this year, or
like something that you want to see come to fruition over the next 10 months. Just, it could be something really simple or something really, whatever, just something that your vision is.
So our vision is within 2021 to start like the first program, which is supposed to be 10 veterans that will do a 4 months program. As I said before, part of it will be in Israel, part in Costa Rica. So we just want to see the pilot. Like we want to see the birth of this dream. And I'm super optimistic that it will happen, but there are challenges.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, but you know,
True.
I'm a big believer. I have a background in like life coaching, which is kind of touchy-feely, whatever. But I mean, like, if you don't put that dream out there and like put it on paper and tell everybody. So that's part of why I wanted to get this out here, so we can all just help support. Awesome. Thank you, Or. Rob Sanderson.
I think probably the thing that's gone best for Swell is being able to collaborate with other organizations. Rob Garnett with One More Wave has been super helpful. Such a great dude, gracious with his time to kind of help me through certain problems that we've run into in our first year. And then meeting Chris, and we've got some local organizations here that do like horsemanship programs in Kansas City, been very helpful with fundraising. So just the collaboration's been awesome, and I'm really, you know, been blessed with being introduced to some smart people. What's not going so well? I've been, you know, hunting pretty hard some larger corporate sponsorships to try to get them kind of behind it. There's some that really would make sense, but again, I think it might just be a time issue. We're just over a year in, and a lot of times they want to see a couple of years of financials, and I think we'll get there. We just established a really credible board. We've got some cool people on that, so I think it will happen eventually. And then one thing that I really want to get out of 21 is I would like for us to have enough programming statistics to get these government entities that we're helping to start chipping in to help us kind of reinvent organizations to start chipping in forward.
Awesome.
That's all I've got.
That's great. Thank you so much, Rob. Rob Garnett.
All right. Thanks for being the kind words, Rob. What's been working really well for us is, you know, of course, during 2020, everything was shut down. Well, the only thing that was really open in California was the beach. So for us, obviously fundraising's been tough for, I'm sure, all of us, but we just have been providing as many opportunities to go surf as possible. But we used to just do it once a month. Now we try to do it weekly. We've had a lot of great luck by using a texting app that we pull all of our people into so that everyone can talk about when they're going surfing. It doesn't have to be anything amazing. Just, hey, I'm heading out to Marine Street in La Jolla, or hey, I'm going to go to Trestles, or I'm up in Morro Bay, I'm going to go hit the rock, or I'm in Florida, I'm going to go to Sebastian Inlet. And it just gives people that maybe might isolate an excuse to get in the water instead of what a lot of us do is go, well, you know, it's cold, the waves aren't that good, I'll just stay home. But if you hear 3 other people talking, you might get talked into going surfing. So that's really helped us expand. And I think it's been a good growth for us for sure. I think that's the best thing we've been able to do in the last year is provide more opportunities to get in the water, even if there's no surf, even if we're going to stand around and talk about drinking coffee or talk about surfing, all of our favorite things to do. But yeah, especially for all of us maybe that are struggling with addiction or substance abuse, right? Just more things to go do that are healthy. So definitely that. What was hard last year for sure, of course, was fundraising. Our fundraising is way down. I imagine everyone else's is. It's tough to do events when we're in COVID. Something that we're really hoping to push for this next year and this year we're in right now is a couple of pilot programs. One is to offer our riders, that's the folks we call that get equipment from us, the ability to come in and actually shape. If they want to learn to shape a board, do some airbrushing, actually make the board they're going to take in the water with them. We're trying to do that right now. So we've got a pilot program going on for that. And then also to teach a little bit. We've never provided surf clinics in the past just because there's so many of you wonderful groups out there already doing it. So we're just going to provide gear and let that keep going. But here in San Diego, there hasn't been a lot of opportunities for that. Jimmy Miller comes down, but we could still use more. When the big giants like Operation Surf here on the West Coast or Warrior Surf on the East Coast are kind of closed, it really doesn't give everyone a lot of opportunities to learn to surf. So we're hoping to expand a little bit into that as well. But those are kind of our big goals for this year and next year also.
Awesome. Hey, Rob, what's the name of that? Is there a specific app that you mentioned for the texting app that you said?
It's just, we use GroupMe and we just have regional threads for where you live. So like for here in California, we've got a ton of them. So like South San Diego, North San Diego, we've got some in Florida. Obviously Florida's giant, so we need more than 2. But we've got them all over the place. But it's just a GroupMe. It's free app. The challenge is not turning it into another social media thing where people will just turn it off, right? So if we really try hard to keep everyone only to talk about, hey, I'm going to go jump in and surf, and not a picture of their awesome burrito that they had or the poke bowl that they found. Trying to trim that down keeps everyone staying on. We found that the more we keep it away from social media, like a scrolling thing like we do in Instagram or Facebook and just information about surfing, we've been able to keep a lot of people in it. So it's been successful. I'm happy to add all of you. If you want to join the GroupMe app, it's free. It's really easy. And all it does is give people opportunity to go surf. But what it also does, which is really cool, it's something we really didn't think about, is if someone needs assistance, right? So someone's like, hey, I'm a prone rider. I need help from my chair into my wave ski. Can someone meet me in Oceanside? And it works out awesome. Someone will get some help wherever they are to get in the water if they need something, physically to get in the water. So that's been a really cool bonus that we didn't really plan on. Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to join. I'm in a little surf rut myself personally. So
awesome. I hear you. We can all go crash at Chris's place in Baja.
I'm not kidding, Chris, next week. Like awesome. Let's see, where are we at? I think it's Guy next. Sorry, my Hollywood squares got shuffled. So
yes. Yeah, so basically all mentioned most of it, but I'll just say that there's a lack of surf therapy, good quality surf therapy programs, NPOs, organizations here in Israel. And I'd say that our NPO is probably the first of a kind in Israel. So the one that uses surf therapy and combining clinical psychological therapy for PTSD, but that's why that's like a thing that everybody that hears, all the organizations that hear about it, they really excited and they want to work with us. So I say that just going to add to all those things. But talking about challenges, I'd say that we haven't started fundraising yet. So from my experience with the NPO field and with those kind of programs, that it's going to be a challenge, especially during COVID time. So yes, we addressed few organizations that hold population and can fund the program itself, and it's going to be a problem, and it is a problem. So I say that we need to think and be smart about it. That's the only thing, that's the big challenge that I think we're going to have. And yes, in 10 months to be after a whole program of surf therapy. That's the main goal. That's it.
Awesome. Big things to come from you guys. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
All right, Corey.
Oh, hey, so the good, we're in an area that's we have a lot of surf help because we're right next to Ron John's and a bunch of surf shops. And we have waves. The bad, same thing, funding. And volunteer help has been a little dicey lately. I don't know why. Our school volunteer surf club is nowhere to be found. And what was the last one?
Something that you want to create in the next 10 months in your organization, like a vision or something that you'd like to see come together.
I'd like to be able to pay some people, yeah, especially my EMT guy, surf instructor guy.
Great, thank you so much. Jody.
Okay. Well, on the good side, we've got several things kind of cooking. Just to address what was brought up earlier, specifically Shane by you, we're opening up to address the group that is suffering from PTSD from COVID. So looking at first responders first, folks in the medical front lines primarily. So working with a hospital right now to try to figure that out. So that's pretty exciting for us. The other piece that's exciting is, as Rob knows, we're just trying to expand, our programs to involve other programs, other groups, so that we can kind of broaden our instructor base. And in addition to that, we're also looking to bring on more clinical therapists to assist us with expanding our program, because Kevin can't be in all places at all times. So we want more people to come on and help us out. So we've got some structure built around that. I think our challenge right now is one that's pretty personal to me. It's just, we have a lot of communities to serve, but we're still in an era of COVID and trying to figure out how to do this safely. One of the things that is a challenge to me is that although people are, supportive of being outside and the distancing, it's hard to do in the groups that we run. And if we're going to have some kind of impact and discussion, you kind of have to hear each other. You have to get closer than 6 feet. People are not necessarily that big of a fan of wearing a mask on the beach. When you're in the water, obviously it's difficult. And we have pretty strict protocols about how we teach surfing, where we're pretty close to our participants. We always have a 1-to-1 for an instructor. We have a 1-to-1 for a water safety person. So there's a team around them. So there's just a lot of things there that I personally, as somebody who runs operations for the foundation, it's just been pretty daunting for me, because I want to make sure everyone's safe and myself is safe, right? So that's been a challenge. But the thing that we're really looking forward to going forward is actually we've decided to have sort of in addition to the growth that I talked about, the good stuff, is we're doing our own planning meeting this weekend, where we're going to kind of look at really kind of refocusing our voice and positioning of the foundation, and kind of working on involving our board a little bit more and getting, I think that's one thing that's kind of taught us with not being able to involve as many volunteers because of COVID. How do we rely on the folks that are currently in the organization a little bit more? So looking forward to activating that team more and seeing what can come out of that, and hopefully some renewed excitement around the foundation.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's just I just listening to everybody going around, it's just so, I love, like, we've got people in so many different places in their organization, from starting up at the ground level to Jimmy Miller, which, you know, you guys are one of the, you know, obviously founding groups, and to hear some of the similar things, and yeah, how COVID has affected surf therapy. I think that's probably one of the most heartbreaking, because like I know when we were doing the annual meetup and listening in on, you know, some of the groups, and I can't remember who it was, but just how like they petitioned to say like, hey, we have to have this, because literally like people are, you know, like this is like a safety health issue if we can't get people to surf therapy, and all the challenges that go with that. So I applaud you guys for really thinking about it. And it's hard to be in a thing where it's like, well, I don't know what the answer is. Like, we just do the best we can, but it's like, it's that, yeah. I really hope that this COVID situation gets better, and with the vaccinations and stuff, I'm just praying that like we don't, I mean, it's hard to believe it's already been a year, like over a year. It's like, oh my gosh. So thank you so much, Jody. Miss Karen, a good, a bad, and what's coming to life in 10 months?
Hey, hi, sorry, I'm actually, my daughter's driving, so I had to switch cameras and everything. We're getting down to Pismo because I have a ton of work to do for the retreat. So as far as AMP Surf goes with the general veteran stuff, it's really exciting because we now have a shuttle that goes from Fresno to Pismo Beach on Fridays, so that people, the veterans in Fresno, can come and learn to surf and hang out. And you know, the Vet Surf Fridays is all about camaraderie. And so a lot of times the older veterans just sit and have coffee and talk about surfing. And then some of us are out there teaching. And I've been working with a lot of women vets, which has been really cool to have more come out. So that's pretty cool. If you know anyone in Fresno that wants to come surf on Fridays, we'll go pick them up and bring them back. We won't keep them there. Not unless, you know, they want to. And then, so yeah, the Women Veteran Surf Project, I'm hoping it will be its own entity, probably by a year, but I know running a nonprofit is really tough. And so AMP Surf has graciously taken on our program right now to help it at least get launched. So yeah, I have 40 women on a waiting list. So it's definitely, there's interest. So
anything that's not going super awesome?
It's overwhelming. I am finding I would rather just be in the water and being with people one-on-one or in a group, and just, you know, I'm really much better with people, but I'm being challenged with all the social media outreach and talking to sponsors and donors. And it's been really well received. It's just a new skill for me. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, Miss Christina in Jupiter. A good, a bad, and what do you want to see happen?
All right, so the good, I would definitely say we're having an amazing response from the veterans and the foster kids. We always say a feeling word at the beginning of, you know, how we're starting the session, and then when we have our closing circle, we have a feeling word at the end. And 100% of the time, every surfer has always given a positive word, and it's always like gratitude, thankfulness, intrepid, strong, fearless, just like the most incredible words. So I know that what we're doing is working. Some things that we struggle with, and definitely this with the foster girls, they were in a group home. They would all arrive at the same time in the same car. With the female veterans, they I felt like it was hard to get them there, and it was at the beginning of COVID. But I don't know if they have more mental hurdles to get through to get themselves to the beach, and maybe just the thought of surfing is very intimidating to them. We had spoken about, like, our program is free. We spoke about charging, but something that Groundswell does is they'll offer a scholarship, a 50% scholarship or a 100% scholarship. So everyone could get a scholarship, but them just knowing like someone's paying for you to be here, like, I don't know if that could help. definitely would love feedback on that. And also what someone else mentioned, just having to wear all the hats. Like I came in and it was just like, I'm a surfer with a good heart, but now I have to wear the marketing hat, the liability, all the little hats you have to wear. So it's a struggle, but it's okay. Trying to make sure that this tool that we're giving them is sustainable, because yeah, I'm pretty sure 100% of the participants don't have surfboards. So helping them to get a surfboard, whether it's, you know, financially, or we do have one of our veterans has a prosthetic. So I don't even know where to start with how to make a board that's, or recommend a board that is good for him. So definitely one more way to help me with that. And then what we would like to see in the next 10 months, COVID made this hard, but just having like a more solid schedule. I feel like we've had to reschedule so many times because of either COVID or weather, just like being able to have a set schedule to help us with, you know, volunteers, everything, being able to hold everyone accountable to this solid schedule. That's been hard for us.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, when you're having volunteers and you're starting and it's like, I think somebody else was, yeah, I think Corey mentioned he's had a hard time with finding the right volunteers, and I'm sure COVID has affected that. And
oh, and also we noticed, I thought it was just the foster kids, like, you know, they're dealing with abandonment. So if one volunteer didn't show up, they would say, oh, where's Kimmy today? And I was like, oh, wow. In their head, they're thinking, Kimmy didn't show up because of them, or I don't know, something like that. But it also happened with the male veterans too. They're like, where's Carrie today? So so we do like to have the same volunteers show up for every session in the 6-week session. So that's hard too.
that brings up like such a great point. And, you know, of course, amongst these working groups, we have our group, there's several other groups, but just what comes to mind when you say that, sort of like best practices for training those volunteers and bringing that as like, you know, hey, like, awesome that you want to volunteer, like, you got this, like, we got to make sure, you know, that it's not just like a flippant sort of like, oh, that sounds cool on a Saturday, but like, just, I don't know how maybe Jimmy Miller has dealt with that, or other larger organizations that have been around. Again, my background is, you know, so different. So I don't have any words of wisdom, but it sounds like that definitely would be a really important thing to maybe, you know, address at some point, maybe over the next 10 months, to sort of get some ideas around that too. It's a really good point. Okay, so we have about 3 minutes left, and I want to make sure that I respect everybody's time. I'm so stoked everybody came today. I just didn't even know what to expect, but some of the main themes that I heard everybody kind of talking about included sort of the growing pains of trying to fundraise, trying to get in front of the right people, trying to get partnered up with the right sponsors. That was sort of like a mostly louder theme I've heard, how to get things up and running, and independent entities. So I think what I would like to do based on that is try, if I can, and maybe Chris, you can help me with this, is just maybe see if we can bring in a guest speaker, or maybe more than one on our next session, and just, you know, try to start, you know, chipping away at some of these hard, challenging things. So maybe try to work on that and see if, I remember some people spoke in the conference a couple of years ago. I can't remember their names. I'm really bad with names. It's like the worst. I don't know what happened. I used to be so good, but Chris, maybe we can get together and talk about some strategies for bringing some inspiration and ideas for fundraising and connecting, if that's something you guys are open to. Or not.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. I think, I mean, that was kind of my goal. I'm gonna share in the chat box before we go. It's like a Google shared doc. I'm gonna end up putting my notes there. I'll send the link out also in the email. But I'd really love for you guys to, feel free to share resources, create this space for us. So I'll put that link, hold on, in the chat if I can finagle.
Rob, I wanted to say, like, when I heard you were talking about you had veterans making surfboards, that's pretty awesome. One, like, as I'm an occupational therapist assistant, like how our profession started is by veterans making things with their hands as like a way, as any kind of way, like therapy, for physical therapy for their hands, whatever. But like that is like the same thing. That's pretty cool.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see, any last parting things? The other thing, this is like just came to mind this morning before I hopped on here, is what other, whether you're an OT or you're in advertising or you're in anything, is I want us to also remember, like, it is really overwhelming to be a business owner or a nonprofit, or it's a lot. So I want to also just know that we're here to support each other too from that standpoint. It's really easy, I think, when you've got to do the social media and you've got to do the waivers and the lawsuit, and then you got to show up on the beach and bring your best, all those things. And so my hope is that we also kind of support from the burnout side of that too, and use these spaces. I think it's always so much focus on the participants, the organization, but just remember that we're like the blood and the life force behind all these amazing groups. And so please don't hesitate to reach out. Like, even if it's like, I don't know, like, how do I post this on social media or anything? Like, just, I've been an entrepreneur for about 8 years, and just these little things, like, some people always have like a little, like, hey, this is a great way to fix that. And so I'm just hoping that over the next year or so, we can like kind of really help support in that business side too, because it's just so overwhelming. We're wearing so many hats. So I just wanted to say that too. All right, guys. If anything else, I want to respect your time. I know, gosh, Guy, what is it, like 10 o'clock at night over there or something?
It's only one here.
Thanks,
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to contact each other? Like, will our emails be somewhere?
Yeah, great question. So I was just put in the chat link, but I'm going to set it up via email to, if everybody's okay with that, with the email group there. Yeah, I'm open to ideas too. I know some people use other platforms like Slack or something like that, but yeah, my goal is, the link I just put in the chat is to start kind of creating that shared workspace for us there. And then we'll put together the URLs or social media channels so you guys can ping each other on that. I think, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we still have the Whova app, right?
We do. And also, I think all of the emails that have been going out from either myself or Shane, everybody's on it. And there were 3 people actually who reached out to me today who couldn't make it. This is a thriving, growing population that people are recognizing and realizing is poorly underserved. And it's shocking, right? Because our veterans give up so much for our country, and yet they come home to sort of, stigma and just other issues that ails them. So yeah, I think the emails that are going out, everybody's CC'd on those. They're not blind copied. So you can reply all to those if you guys are wanting to continue the conversations. But yeah, Shane, through the Google Drive folder, please use that, resources, and you can let people know. I can also do a WhatsApp group if anybody's into that. Although, to Rob's point, we could also do it on GroupMe. We could do a GroupMe thread, since he brought that up anyway. We could do one just for this particular group, which it's kind of, GroupMe is kind of fun. I'm on like 3 of them with Rob. Rob keeps adding me because I'm in LA, so I'm not close enough to San Diego, so I keep missing all of them. But I think actually GroupMe is not a bad one either. WhatsApp or GroupMe, whoever has the most. I think we'll just do majority rules, and then we'll just put you guys all on that thread. But again, to Rob's point, it's like adding more social media or adding more stuff. We don't want to add too much stuff. So yeah.
I agree. I would be open to the GroupMe, or I don't know, we can what do you guys tell me? I can't handle too much more social media. It's like I'm in social media breakdown right now. I have my real estate business and then my surf therapy business, and I just like get on there and I'm like, I don't want to deal. Sorry.
We'll figure out a way for you to keep this rich conversation going.
Awesome.
You guys are awesome.
All right. Well, also I will post on the thing I have on my website, but I'll cut and paste the URL. I have like a huge laundry list, and I'm hoping to add to it just any other resources. I know ISTO has a huge resource page, but I have a ton of stuff from like physiology side, some of the surf therapy stuff, but I just want to create as many resources for our group as possible. So anyway, I've run over. Sorry, guys. Have a great day. And then I am going to plan to see you guys on the second Tuesday of next month. We'll try to bring in a speaker. So have a good one, you guys.
Everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Come on and say
Thank you.
goodbye. I'm like, I want to hear everyone's voices.
Bye-bye.
Bye.